So I started to use this donkey as a temporary shulker box because I still have not been to the end, and I'm having a lot of trouble with my inventory management. They really do need to work on the whole inventory situation, because the moment you start using different blocks to texture and all that, the builds just get absurd, and your inventory is, just gets horrible as well. Oh, I need to find a better way for my donkey to walk through this stuff, because I do get hit, I do get hurt. But in the last episode, we built our starter home right here in this kind of like steampunk, diesel punk, fantasy, industrial, all these different labels, type of style build. And today I wanted to kind of switch it up a little bit and go back to a bigger type of build. So we're gonna head back up towards the surface and keep working on our giant dwarven gate. So I think the plan is to kind of add these two large dwarven statues at the front of the gate, kind of like how you would see in typical fantasy dwarven fashion. And on top of that, we'll probably add a little pathway that leads upwards towards the pedestal. But we also did some very, very minor additions to our interior. We added a large little table here. I feel like all dwarves are very into food, and they probably have large families as well. So a large place to eat. And then I'll have some storage space coming right here. And then maybe I'll have some rooms kind of inside and embedded into the wall here. Kind of wish we could ride on the goats, because I've seen a few goats around, and I've actually seen one inside this cave. And honestly, I think riding a goat would be much more dwarven than it is riding this donkey. That is dangerous. I need to light this up still. So I've been making videos for a few months now, and I'm still kind of getting a hang of the whole situation here. But since this is more of a build-oriented series, I'm thinking I might start just cutting out some of the kind of monotonous, repetitive work, like, the resource gathering. But, I know the stereotype about like, oh, he mined off camera. And while I agree with that, I feel like it's just honestly really boring to watch. But I mean, if you think otherwise though, let me know in the comments down below, and maybe I'll just kind of add them occasionally when I'm gathering certain different types of things, not just boring old stone. But I think focusing more on the building and the process, and kind of talking throughout the build and after the build to kind of explain it, I think that's a little more important and a little more relevant for my series. But like I said, if you think otherwise, let me know down in the comments down below. All right, so speaking of the build, we're back on the surface at the Dwarven Gate. And right now, where it stands, you can't actually kind of get up here properly unless you're kind of climbing off through the sides, which really don't make any sense. So what we have to do is we're going to be building a kind of a pathway, or a bridge, I guess you would say. It's going to be an elevated pathway that's kind of lined up all the way over here. And that way, if you have carts or horses or anything like that, and you need to ride into the city, you'd be able to walk up there without having to climb the sideways. So we're going to be building this big pathway like that can, and I'm thinking it's going to be like 9 wide. It's going to be a 9 wide road, maybe a little larger. But we're going to be building kind of a bridge. And then in the future, we're going to be maybe renovating this little village city right here. And it'll be kind of like a dwarven trading post on the surface. But that's for like a far off episode, maybe. For this episode, though, we're doing that little bridge, and then I think we're going to be building some pedestals right here and having 2 giant Dwarven statues. So we want to keep the Dwarven statues pretty player scale. So these statues are still going to be pretty grandiose, but not like crazy big that they're going to overshadow the actual Dwarven gate itself. This in itself is kind of a statue since it's supposed to be a Dwarven face with a mustache. Of course, some people were saying that this dwarf here, it looks like a cat boy. This was supposed to be kind of like a helmet, and then it's one of those like winged helmets. But people have been calling it a cat boy instead. So, yeah. So apparently, Dwarven cat boys are a thing. But he's not a cat boy though. Maybe he likes cats, but he's not a cat boy. All right. But I think for this episode, we're going to start off with this bridge, and then we'll move on to the statues themselves. And there we go. Quite a large little bridge connecting our little Dwarven gate here. Or not very little, pretty big Dwarven gate to the little landmass here. So since there's a little dip, it didn't make any sense for carts and stuff to be able to get to the gate. So building this little bridge here kind of helps mediate that. But there we go. And here we have the bridge from the side. Looking pretty snazzy here. It's supposed to be kind of this stonework. Since dwarves are pretty, crazy with their stone, they are masters at stoneworks. So they kind of do this whole intricate stonework building. But we've got these little pedestals that hold these braziers, or I guess these little large fireplaces, or large lamps. I don't know what to say. I don't really know what to call them, but yeah, kind of got 6 of them lighting up this area. I wanted to use the soul campfires, but I wasn't able to find any soul sand based on my nether portal that's behind this mountain. Couldn't really get any easy way down, and I was in a basalt delta, so couldn't really find any. But so in the meantime, we're gonna be filling it out with regular campfires. Eventually I might swap them out to the blue campfires, just because I think it kind of matches the vibe a little more with the stone. The warm red color of the flames. I guess it does kind of contrast a little bit, but I did like the look of the soul campfires instead. Hopping in free cam though, we can take a look at the actual bridge pattern. We did this little stone type pattern to kind of give the bridge a little nicer look. I had thought about kind of just doing just random pattern, like random blocks, but I think it makes sense for dwarves to have this kind of intricate design on their builds, just because they're pretty meticulous and pretty, proud of their stoneworks and masonry and all that. So we've got a little design here, and then we've got these little pedestals that hold these braziers or these large lamps kind of to help light up this generalized area. So right now the pattern for the actual platform going towards the gate doesn't really have any design. It's just a random splatter of blocks. But to keep in theme with this actual bridge, I'm probably eventually going to come by and maybe demolish this area and try to create a little design towards this area. But I'm not too sure yet because I still am going to be building some large statues right in these areas. Kind of covering, it's going to be kind of in between this brazier and this tower. So it's going to kind of be blocking this symbol here as well. But I wanted these large statues to kind of overlook this little gate here as well. Kind of those gates that you see, like twin dwarf statues would be on the side, kind of keeping guard. Just the imagery, I guess, is kind of cool. We're taking a little better look at these little pedestals that are holding the braziers. We've got this design with the tuff, which I really enjoyed. I thought it looked really nice. Having these little chiseled blocks and having these little chiseled tuff blocks and all that kind of keeps in line with the whole intricate dwarven masonry. And then here, if you know we could do it, I would have like these engravings and carved pictures. That's what I imagine these little areas with the deep slate would be. But for the braziers itself, we kind of added just some random campfires throughout, just to help keep the smoke levels at different ranges. So this one's down below 1, so the height of it doesn't go as high. And then we also didn't fill it up completely, just to help kind of add some differentiation with the different lanterns. If I'm able to get soul campfires, it'll look a little nicer because the blue definitely helps match the color of the gray a little bit. But I think this bridge, it looks pretty sick, honestly. But going down, we've also got this area where you can kind of walk underneath the bridge, just so that it doesn't really cut you off entirely. I do still need to add like filling to it, so I will have to cover it up through here. That way it's kind of solid blocks throughout. You can see the on the bottom side of it that uses a lot of just slabs. But we're going to cover up this bridge side eventually. I just kind of ran out of materials at the moment, so I'm going to gather a little more material before I start building these statues. And but yeah, so I think we're just going to be doing kind of tough in this area. It'll kind of come up this way, match this right here, and it'll just fill it in so that you can't see this underneath part. But I think it would be kind of cool if we could also, I don't know if I will do this, but I could potentially add a river coming through down here and connecting it all the way towards a river that's headed into that direction. That's quite a massive terraforming project though, and I'm not sure if I'll do it just because I do kind of like the look of just the plain old stone here without any water flowing through. But you know, that's up for change. Looks like the bridge already started bringing over some travelers. What you got, man? Still no mangrove, but you know, that's all good. We will hopefully be seeing you soon, buddy. Okay, he didn't die, so a little awkward, but you know, we're gonna leave that for now. But in the meantime, we're gonna start. We're gonna gather a few resources before I start building. We're gonna probably do that off camera, but we're gonna start building some 2 statues right here. So one will be right here, and one will be right here. We're gonna be building some plinths, and then quite a large statue. It'll probably reach about halfway, or it might reach that mustache right there. But we're gonna have 2 statues on both sides, kind of serving as you know, spiritual guardians, or just, you know, for imagery. And yeah, they're going to be holding some weapons. I don't really do statues. I don't really do organics often. So be nice with the statues. We'll see how they turn out. Yeah, you'll let me know how it looks. So let's get to it then, shall we? And here we are, the finished gate. Looking pretty snazzy with these big old statues. Now, for the most part, I think this gate is basically done. I probably will still add a little bit of terraforming to the area. Like this natural terrain looks a little janky, but for the most part, the entrance is done. So we've got these two new additions to the entrance, which are these two large dwarven statues. Added some little bit of flames in their eyes. Not sure that's something I'll keep, but I think it works. Especially since they're, you know, metal forgers and all that. So very into flames and, you know, metalworking as well on top of the stonework stuff. Just dragging my donkey along the entrance. But yeah, they're pretty big. But they are still smaller than the actual entrance, just to not overshadow the entrance itself. But we've got two statues here. Both of them have little different variations in their beard. Like this one's got a beard mustache combo. And then this one's just got a beard with like some little knots using these walls in the blackstone. We're gonna hop into free cam just to make things a little easier. Oh, it's raining. I think we'll wait for the rain to pass and then we'll take a look at this again. An awesome positioning for this dwarven entrance is that the sunrise actually goes right above the entrance. That wasn't even planned. I just chose this spot and look at that. So you can see the sunrise over the dwarven entrance. Pretty awesome. Just try to throw on some shaders real quick. Bam. Look at that. Shaders actually look a little better when it's midday, but this is looking pretty snazzy. That sun is bright. All right, we're just gonna hop back out of it. I think that was BSL shaders, or might have been complementary shaders. All right, but hopping into free cam, we've got two dwarven statues. They've got some differentiation. Like I said, this one's got a different beard with a mustache combo, and then they've got different helmets. This one's got some helmets, and these granite spots are supposed to be kind of these horns. And then the second differentiation is that they're holding different weapons. So this one's holding kind of like a warhammer, and then this one is holding like a battle axe. And then, like I said, the beard is different here. We've got a regular beard, and then these walls are supposed to be kind of like those knots that you'll see Vikings have in their beards. They kind of like braid it. And then this helmet is a little different as well. It's got these little wings coming out of the helmet, or that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I was trying to do with the main entrance. These were supposed to be these winged helmets on this main gate entrance, but people started calling him a cat boy, and so I try to make these wings a little different by kind of having them go upwards. But both of them are wearing this type of armor looking thing, and then they've got this kind of plate skirt looking armor as well. So I don't really have like feet and shoes for them. It's supposed to be kind of this plated plate skirt, something like that. But like I said, I don't really do organics, so building statues like this was kind of hard. But it was kind of hard to get down the coloring. We kind of use this different stone types to help with the shadows a little bit. So for the plate skirt, to make it look like a plate skirt instead of just kind of like a random blob of blocks, we try to do some shading. So for the outermost layer that's most exposed to light, we used cobblestone. And then in the deeper layer, we used some tuff to kind of simulate some slight shadows. And then on the innermost layer, we used some deep slate in order to simulate the deeper, darker shadows. And I think overall it turned out pretty well. Normally when I build in like creative mode, when I'm kind of just brainstorming, it looks like a big blob. I build with emerald blocks and like diamond blocks to help with the shaping, and then I color it in later. And when I turned it all to stone and all that, it really did just look like a big old blob. And so the coloring did definitely help bring out the shape. But yeah, overall, I think it's pretty good. You can see it a little better on the side. But I think from far away too, really helps make it, really helps sell the look of it all. Now, I can't say that it really looks like a plate skirt maybe, but it's the best that I could do. Like I said, I don't do organics really, and these are pretty organic statues. So, and look at that, sunrise or sunset. Sunrise up here, sunset down there. It's awesome. Like, wow, this was great placement. While we're, you know, heading towards night, let's get a little night look at it and see what it looks like. Look at that. Oh yeah, the little like glowing eyes makes it look kind of ominous or something like that. Throw on some shaders. Ooh, with the little what do you call it? It's not a nebula. I forgot. Ooh, and look at that. It's like the fog. Awesome. Bits of lichen in certain spots just to help bring out the face. And also, I don't want mobs spawning up there and then I'm like running down this entrance and get creeper bombed. But anyways, that's all the time we have for today's episode. Thank you for watching once again. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, the whole shebang. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.